Detroit basketball.
Alright, Pistons fans, so in today's video, we are going to be talking about Paolo Banchero. Now, the reason why I'm talking about him specifically, and in his future videos, you're going to see more videos on prospects in the next 2022 NBA draft, is because you guys have been hammering me, telling me I need to do my film. I need to start watching these guys. Every live stream I do, you guys are on my head. You guys make sure that I know about these prospects. So I finally decided about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I forget when, but I finally decided recently to watch these prospects and get my knowledge up on these guys. And the first guy that I actually took a look at was Paolo. When I made sure that I went out, I seeked the full games. I don't like just watching highlights. I like watching full games. So I went out, I watched full games of his. I've watched interviews. I've basically done my homework and my study on Paolo. And then I ended up finding this article, and it was basically called Too Early NBA Mock Drafts for the Next NBA Draft Next Season. So I'm going to put the image on the screen right now, and they basically predicted the Detroit Pistons to be at number 2 and to take Paolo with the 2nd overall pick. And I just want to say, you know, it's very interesting that they had the Pistons projected to get the 2nd overall pick. That basically means they predict the Pistons to have an unsuccessful season. That is up for debate, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to leave that alone. Let's just say for the sake of this video, the Pistons do have an unsuccessful season, and then we end up with the 2nd overall pick. So I'm basically going to tell you guys everything that I know about Paolo, how I feel like he would fit on the team, and who he is as a player. So Paolo is a 6'9" power forward, around 240 to 242 pounds, and he decided to commit to Duke. Now, before I get into the information, I do want to say I understand that this is based on high school tape, high school film, going up against other high school players. So I do understand that I'm judging him prematurely. We haven't seen him go up against the highest level of competition yet, but it is what it is. I'm just going to do the best that I can to give you guys the information on him. So let's talk about who he is as a player. So the first thing that I want to say about Paolo that really, you know, took my eye was his skill level. Paolo is a very polished player. Without even playing college basketball yet, I feel like he's a very skilled and talented player. And going into more detail about the skill level, his ball handling ability for a power forward, for someone 6'9", with that level of ball handling ability and being around 240 pounds, he's moving around a lot of weight, a lot of muscle, so it's not easy for him to move around the court, but the way how he handles the basketball with that size and that frame is very, very good, very, very positive. I really enjoy watching him handle the basketball when he did get the opportunity to handle the basketball. I'm not saying that he dribbled like a guard, but I am saying for a big man to be a power forward, he is someone who has pretty good ball handling ability. The next thing that I want to say about Paolo is his mid-range jumper. The bread and butter, in my personal opinion, from the film that I've seen from Paolo, is his mid-range shot. The mid-range is where he scores most of his points. It's where he likes to operate. He's not necessarily, you know, a three-point shooter right now. He is someone who likes to operate near the mid-range area and shoot mid-range jumpers, sometimes fadeaways, sometimes just using his handle to shake off his defender and shoot a mid-range jumper. So I did like that about him. His mid-range jumper is polished. It is very, very solid. That's another positive point about Paolo. He has a good mid-range jumper. My next positive point that I'm going to mention about Paolo is his post play. He is someone who's already not even playing college basketball yet. Someone operating out of the post already with excellent footwork. The footwork out of Paolo, you know, it reminds me of someone who just got drafted in the NBA. He plays for the Houston Rockets, and his name is Alperen Sengun. Pistons fans know him because he destroyed us in that second Summer League game. His footwork is absolutely impeccable, and Paolo reminds me of Sengun in that way. They both have very good footwork, and the way they operate out of the post, I feel like it's similar in some ways. So the post play, the footwork out of Paolo is very, very solid. That's a big positive for him. And then the last positive point that I want to mention about Paolo is just his maturity. He directly reminds me of Cade Cunningham, the player who we just drafted 1st overall. In terms of maturity, I don't know him personally, but what I've seen from him in the interviews and just hearing him speak and talk, he seems like a very mature, laid back, not in your face type of person. I really like that. He does seem to fit the Detroit culture. He is not someone who's flashy like Jalen Green or, you know, just a Hollywood lifestyle. He doesn't really fit that. From what I've seen, Paolo does seem like a laid back, chill, down to earth type of guy. And that does seem to align with the Detroit culture. Very similar to Cade Cunningham in terms of his maturity. So that is a big positive for me. Now, let's talk about the negatives for a little bit. Now, the negatives on Paolo, these are things that I feel like he could easily fix, especially if he moves to the NBA level with top coaches and top scouts trainers. I feel like these are areas that he can improve on, but as of right now, these are weak areas to him. So the first thing that I'm going to say about Paolo is his three-point jumper. As I mentioned earlier, the mid-range shot is where he gets his bread and butter, operating out of the post, inside scoring. That is the positive to Paolo, but the three-point shooting is just not there right now. I'm not saying that he's terrible, but currently his three-point shot is not something that you would want to rely on. His three-point jumper needs some work. It can get better, as we've seen again with Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham coming to college was not a good three-point shooter, but once he went to OSU, he upped his three-point percentage to 40% from the three-point line, and then in the summer league shot 50% from the three-point line. So with Paolo, improving his jump shot is something that I do feel like is attainable, and I do expect him to improve his jumper as he moves to the next level. It's just right now, that's not something that is his strong suit. The next thing I'm going to say about Paolo is his speed. Now, I do understand that he's a power forward, and that's not necessarily a position that you need to have athleticism in. And I do understand that at the NBA level, you don't need crazy athleticism to succeed. But I did want to quickly mention that athleticism is something that I do believe he needs to work on. His mobility, it's okay right now, it's decent, but it does need to improve. It does need to get better. Again, you don't have to be a crazy athlete to succeed in the NBA. We've seen it time and time again. Ramon Felton, Larry Bird, James Harden. There are guys in the NBA who aren't crazy athletes and have success. But when it comes to Paolo, I do believe that that is an area that he can work on. Next point that I want to mention is his defensive ability. Right now, he's a solid defender, not great, but not bad either. He does have some blocking ability to him. He did have a lot of blocks in the tape that I watched, so he does have some defensive upside, but as of right now, I would say he's about an average defender. He can guard guards on the perimeter, so he won't be too terrible in pick and roll situations. He's decent in the post defense, so overall, I feel like he's an average defender. And to wrap it up, it's the fact that he hasn't played college basketball yet. That is the main thing with all of these prospects who haven't played college basketball yet. You don't want to judge them too prematurely. We don't want to give them too much praise. We don't want to say too much negative things about them because we haven't seen them play college basketball yet. That's when I'm really going to get in, really, study the film of Paolo at Duke this season. I'm looking forward to watching him. So I've said all the things that I needed to say about Paolo. I wish him the best of luck at Duke. He may not be a Detroit Piston because we don't know where we will be drafting next season, but I wish him the best of luck. And if we do end up getting someone like him, it will be cool to see him and Cade Cunningham and the rest of the guys on the Pistons grow. So Pistons fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Thank y'all for 3K, and I'm out.